What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex Yu, and let's talk about the Avengers, and specifically the Avengers box office. Now, why should the box office take of the Avengers or any movie matter to me? Well, when I really think about it, it's kind of like rooting for like a sports team. I want Avengers to do well just because not only do I want to see another one, but I appreciate it as a piece of art. Okay, like I appreciate like films and movies, and I want them to do well. And there is a sort of measurement, not only by reviews and giving it a score out of 10, but also by dollar amounts, and that is through box office money. So let's talk about the box office take. And the movie has been out in theaters for 19 days. It has come out in other parts of the world, not North America first. So everywhere else got to see it first, and North America got it a little bit later. There's still other parts of the world, like Japan, for example, that won't be getting it until August. But right now, 19 days after its first day and 2 weekends, it has already made $1 billion in 2 weeks. $1 billion in 2 weeks. And when you think about it, when you compare it to another comic book movie, for example, The Dark Knight made $1 billion in its full theatrical run. The Avengers did it in 2 weeks. So we're talking about some serious, like epic box office pull they got here. They got some serious power. In 2012, the very first box office monster was The Hunger Games, and it opened at $150 million in its first 3 days, which includes the midnight preview. That was pretty huge. Nobody knew what the Hunger Games could make, right? But right now, The Avengers is the second big box office monster. Right now, domestically, it has 373 million, and that's in 10 days. Hunger Games has 386 million in 8 weeks. So basically, in 10 days, they made the equivalent or near equivalent of what the Hunger Games could make in 8 weeks domestically. I'm actually pretty happy to know that the Hunger Games is actually still in 4th place. And when you really think about it, there are not a whole lot of big major releases yet. The next big major release will be Battleship. But other than that, between the opening of Hunger Games and till now, nothing really competed against it until the Avengers came out. Another record that it broke was the record held by Harry Potter, and that was how much it could make in its first weekend. And Harry Potter originally held that title at 169 million in 3 days domestically. The Avengers did it, they did 207 million in 3 days. And that's just phenomenal when you think about it. 200 million in 3 days. Now that's a lot of money, okay? And they both had IMAX and 3D showings. So that has a lot to contribute for it. But right now, after 2 weekends, it's at 373 million domestically and 1 billion worldwide. So these are ridiculous numbers. I'm just thinking that nothing can really beat this movie except for The Dark Knight Rises. I think that The Dark Knight Rises has the ability to match or probably get near that. I won't say that it will be guaranteed to beat it just because I really don't know, but I will say that it is its next competition. Let's look at the little details about why this could happen or why it might not happen. The Avengers had 4 years of hype surrounding it, okay? So it's guaranteed that it was going to open big, but it's got 3D showings, it's got IMAX showings. The Dark Knight Rises, on the other hand, only has IMAX showings. There are, of course, going to be a lot of repeat viewings for the Avengers from fanboys like me. I've already seen it 3 times, and I'm considering a 4th. And with the Avengers being like only in its 2nd weekend, there are still people who have not seen it yet at all, just because they might not have theaters with reserved seating. They've been lining up, and every time that they attempt to go, it keeps on getting sold out, which is still happening right now. The showings are still getting sold out in my city, and it's just ridiculous. So we already know that The Avengers is a huge box office monster. Now, I'm just curious, can it beat Avatar? Can it beat Avatar? Avatar is at 760 million domestically and 2.7 billion worldwide. Now, that's a ridiculous number, but I don't think it can beat it in the worldwide box office numbers, but can it and will it beat Avatar? I'm gonna say that it's gonna be close, but it's gonna be a tough challenge for the Avengers to beat Avatar. And the main reason why is just because Avatar's theatrical run was 9 months, from December 2009 to August 2010. But one thing that made Avatar very strong is the huge word of mouth and also the consistent box office take. It only made $75 million on its first 3 days, but also on the second weekend it made another $75 million. And typically in the world of movies and box office, the movies usually dip 50%. For example, last weekend the Avengers made $207 million. This weekend it made $100 million. So there was a big like 50% drop, and that is very normal. But Avatar kept it really consistent, and I'm not sure how it did it, but I'm gonna say it was because of word of mouth and a lot of people saying that this was the best movie or 3D experience they've ever experienced in their life. In a movie, rather. The Avengers, I think, will have a box office run of maybe 4 months, because typically that's when DVDs and Blu-rays and home video releases usually happen. It's 4-month wait. Now let's take a look at the domestic box office charts. The Avengers is currently at number 18 at $373 million domestically, just below Spider-Man 2. The top 5 highest grossing films domestically consists of 2 James Cameron movies, 1 comic book movie, and 2 Star Wars movies. I think that by next week, at the rate that it's going and with no major summer blockbuster coming out, The Avengers is going to be at number 4 in the highest grossing domestic films of all time, knocking down Star Wars Episode 1 to the 5th spot. Now let's take a look at the worldwide box office charts. The top 3 highest grossing films of all time worldwide, so in the entire world, consists of, once again, 2 James Cameron movies, and they're at well over $2 billion, and also at number 3 is a Harry Potter film, the most recent one, at $1.3 billion. Avengers is already at $1 billion worldwide, and that's only been 2 weeks, and it's safe to say that Avengers is going to take the number 3 spot next week. The only other movie that will be competing against Avengers will be Battleship. If the Avengers continues to dip at 50% every weekend, Battleship is going to sink the Avengers on the weekend that it comes out. So with all that being said, I want to ask you guys, where do you think the Avengers is going to be in the domestic box office charts and also the worldwide box office charts? Let me know in the comment section below. And another question that I'd like to answer that a lot of people were thinking in the back of their minds is that, will the Avengers beat The Dark Knight in the box office domestically? And my answer is yes, it will. Anyways, that's all I have to say in this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, and also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. I gotta let you know that my Avengers review is coming up, so stay tuned for that. I really appreciate your patience in this. Alright, my name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. 60 Avengers Assemble shot, that was just amazing. Like that just... Oh man, I got goosebumps. I don't know how many of you guys actually give